Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having and holding this hearing. In addition to being on the Aging Committee, gentlemen, I'm also on the Ag Committee. Let me tell you, the state of agriculture economy, it's in dire straits. We're in trouble. We've lost 150,000 farms, 25,000 farmers just in the last 5 years. Producers have lost over $40 billion in net farm income since 2022, and the current agriculture trade deficit has grown to $49 billion. Despite, in my state of Alabama, producers making bumper crops, they can't even break even, much less make a profit, due to the low commodity prices, high input costs, interest rates, and inflation. We can't keep this up. Can't do it. The only way we're going to help our farmers survive is to extend President Trump's tax cuts, increase reference prices, and hammer the heck out of foreign countries on tariffs. It is way out of control, way out of balance. We cannot continue this direction. It's concerning that 1/3 of our farmers are over their age 65. And this creates a significant workforce problem for our ag industry as young people are not entering farming. Mr. Duvall and Mr. Alderman, this labor problem increases the need for reforms in H-2A programs. Can you two speak of the struggles of keeping up with H-2A's adverse effect wage rate that is over $16 an hour in my state of Alabama, that is double the minimum wage? Can y'all address that, please?
Yes, sir, I can.
Thank you.
It costs me $22 to $24 an hour for my H-2A labor, okay? Minimum wage in Florida, I think, is $12.50. I'm from Florida, and with the rates going up higher next year, they're talking about going it up another $1. We still have to pay for their housing. We'd like some relief, at least we could get the housing back from the people, the H-2A workers that we're bringing in. But we spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars every year just for housing for the labor. Plus, we have to bring them in here, pay for their visas, pay for their ride here, their ride back. They're great labor. They're good. Without them, we couldn't harvest our crop. But we can't compete with the cheap prices of tomatoes coming from Mexico against us. They're undercut the price so cheap. We're talking, the tariff that we're talking about is not enough to make any difference. 20%, 17%, that's not enough to help it. They need a floor, at least what our minimum growing cost is, and then put a tariff above that. But try to protect the Florida farmers that a few that are left. And it's not only just in Florida, because at first it was just Mexico was coming after Florida tomato farmers right after NAFTA. Well, 20 years later, they're growing pepper and squash and corn and beans and every vegetable we grow all the way up the East Coast, all the way to Jersey and past. They're going to be competing with all of them, Mexico, with all those products. And their labor is, I don't know, what are they paying, $10 a day, and we're paying $25 an hour? There's got to be some help with the balance of trade. We don't want the government to give us anything, but get us on a level playing field with Mexico and Canada.
Thank you. Mr. Duvall, you want to add to that?
Yes, sir. First thing we need to do is for Congress to freeze the AWAR wage rate so that farmers don't have to take another increase, and give us time to work on this H-2A program so that we can make it a workable program for our employees and for the farmer there. The way we're going now with the wage rate going up, we're going to price ourselves out of farming. We're not going to be able to pay the wage rate and stay in the farming and provide those jobs. And it's got to be done. It's got to be done quickly. And then we got to work on creating an H-2A program, or a program that speaks to all of agriculture. All of agriculture is suffering for the lack of labor, and we need to have year-round workers that's not capped. We need to be able to control it, but we need to be able to fill those jobs, whether a small, medium, or large-sized farm, and we need to have those year-round workers in those areas like dairy and other places where the work never stops. And then, of course, the regulation that go along with those programs are just so burdensome. You heard him talk about the requirement of having housing, the liabilities that come along with that, in the difficulty it is for our farmers to continue to abide by all these regulations, because every regulation costs a lot of money to a farmer. And if we're going to continue to be able to compete with the world, we've got to be able to make sure that we have a workable program, bring reliable labor here so that we can get the job done. Why would a young farmer, how can a young farmer come back to the farm and bring his expertise that he learned in college, expand that farm without having a labor force to do it with? That's one of the biggest limiting factors we have. And that AWAR rate is set by a survey done through USDA that was created over 60 years ago to count employees, not to set a wage rate. The formula is totally unworkable, and we need to redo that formula and set a fair wage rate that encourages farmers to hire people and be able to still stay in business and
Thank you,
treat those
Chairman.
employees right.
Thank you, Senator Tuberville.